Good morning, everyone. So we're going to start. We're doing our perspective letters, and we're going to make an L, an H, and a T in 1 point perspective, 2 point perspective, and 3 point perspective. And I'll see if I can do this all on one sheet, but we'll see how it goes. So for the 1 point perspective, I'm going to say first we start with a line, and we'll put it right in the middle of our screen. And I want to color those vanishing points. We'll call them VP1. And I'll make this one red. Didn't change it. There it goes. All right, the second one will be VP2. And this one will be red also. And we're going to make an H. Let's see, how are we going to do this? We'll have an L down below, and then we'll have an H up above, and then we'll make a T down below as well. Okay? So for my third one, I'm going to have a third vanishing point right about there. And let's call this, we'll still make it red, and we'll call it VP3. Okay. Oh. Right. So try and move this down low so it's close to the bottom. All right. So L down below, we said. Okay. So when we're doing lines in 1 point perspective, we start with the front face of the object. And so I'm going to put let's move our vanishing point into right here. And I'm going to put the front face right here. Okay, there's my face of the L. And so now all of my vanishing lines, they go back to VP1. All right, so like this, like this, like this, and like this. And even this one. Okay, so we need to decide first off, let's move point F. There you go. All right, so we need to decide where on this portion heading back to vanishing point 1, where does our letter L end? All right. So we're going to make it end right about here. And then we'll use parallel lines to give us our roadmap for where our points are going to end up being. And then I'll mark my intersections. And still use parallel lines. Okay. Now, the reason we marked all those intersections is because we do not want all these lines heading back to the vanishing point to show in our final design. We want to be able to hide those lines. The only line that's going to stay is our horizon line. Okay, so all these other lines are going to end up getting hidden. And if I don't have my points, then I can't draw my line segments. So let's hide these two even. Okay, so there's my L. And so now we need to make an H in 2-point perspective. We're going to do that one above the line segment. There we go. All right, so 2-point perspective.
It's 2 o'clock.
We'll start with the front edge. So I'm going to make this up here. And I'll start with my H being this tall. Okay. And then we want our vanishing lines to go back to the vanishing point. On both sides. And I'm going to make the H spread out this way. And so I need to decide how wide I'm going to make this. And I'll say right here. And we'll open to there. And then right there. And then we'll use parallel lines. Parallel line and parallel line. All right. And then we can mark the intersections down here. Okay. And then let's say we'll make another point. And then the width of this going across, those are all lines heading down to our vanishing point 1. Okay. Do a point for the bottom side. And a segment. Six. Okay, so now I can hide all my extended lines. We actually just have enough to be able to make our front face, our front design of this. We do need the depth lines, and luckily we have these coming down. So let's do our depth while we're at it, and get this deep. And then we'll use parallel lines to figure out our height. Okay. And then we want to be able to see the bottom of this. So all these on the bottom, we're going to extend these. We're going to extend these lines all back to our vanishing point 2. Okay. And all the other lines get extended out to VP1, the width lines. All right, so here we can mark our intersections. Intersection. Okay. And we're also going to have intersection, vanishing point going this way. And vanishing points coming down this way. Okay. Again, when you're done with all this, you need to hide the extension lines. All right, those cannot be showing. Whatever you want to call them, vanishing lines, the width lines, the height lines. Hide all my parallel lines. All my extension lines. Let's zoom in here so we can make sure we're clicking the right line. All right. So I want to make sure that the only things showing here are going to be the letters of my H. Now you can see when we're making this that the lines that we're making, the points are really getting in the way. So I'm going to suggest that we hide the, at the very least, hide the labels. And that's starting to clean it up a little nicer. All right, get those letters out of the way. Okay, now the only part of this that we're not showing is the vertical line off of this edge right here. And so I'm going to make a parallel line that's going to go vertical from that spot. And then we'll mark the intersection right here. Okay. And I'll hide that label. Okay. And then hide my vertical line. And then I will draw that segment. From the bottom to the top. All right, there we go. So now if we're doing the T absolutely has to fall within this triangle of VP1, VP2, and VP3, right? The capital T in 3-point perspective has to be in this area right here, right in this area. Okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to start with the front point. The nearest point to us, that's the first part of this thing, all right? This object, this letter, all right? Everything else is going to go out to a vantage point. The width, the height, the depth, everything. Okay? So I'm gonna say it's a T. I'm thinking kind of like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. But let's put that point right. Let's put it right here. Okay. So now all the width of this goes out to VP2. The height of this goes down to VP3. And any depth lines will go out to VP1. Okay. Okay. So I will decide my depth or my height this way. And this is the underside of my T. And we will decide how long to make this top part. And then the length of this down tube will go like this. And we'll say the width is right. Goes down this far. But the width is going to extend out like this. And so okay. All right. So there's the width of my top bar of my T. And we need to determine how wide our down tube is going to be. Okay. And so there we're going across, and also coming up. All right, so let's hide some of these lines so we don't get too confused with everything. Because we can certainly get confused if we're not careful with this. All right, so okay, so if I hide this guy and I hide one of these guys, then I should be okay, except for drawing this. I'm missing one point back here on the back of my T. Okay, so I can hide this portion, but I do need to extend M back, and I need to extend R1 back, M1 and R1. So let's make the line segments for M1 and R1. And where they intersect, that's the back part of the top of our T. All right, so let's mark that intersection. It's important that we're using the intersect tool because it will figure out the exact intersection spot where those two lines cross. All right, it's not just going to guess. It's going to say, hey, these lines crossed right here at this spot. And so we're good in that respect. Let's hide those lines. And we'll draw our segments. This, and like this, and like this. Okay, so these coming back are heading back towards VP1. And so we have to decide how deep this is going to be. Oh. Because we're going to then extend off of VP3 to figure out this side portion of the downspout. So I need to make a line here from VP3, all right, and then mark that intersection up here. And now I can hide everything. Hide this and hide this. All right. So Okay. So I think I've got my drawings here. Again, hide the labels. At the very least, hide the labels. And when you go to color it, let's say this. You have to color the front of your design. The sides and the underneath, you can decide to shade that kind of a like a gray. So let's look at the L. If we color this L, and let's say the front of it, we make it blue, then the sides we can, and the top, we can pick different colors for that, right? So let's say this L is, let's say this part is light blue and this part, this front portion is a dark blue, kind of like that. All right. So now this, I don't want that. All right. This portion that can be a different shade. So this will be my lightest one. If I have a sun up here, this will be my lightest one. This will be, let's call it 50. It'll be shaded a little bit. Not 55, 50. There you go. And so this part up here, that will also be the light blue. Okay. And this portion will be the medium blue. And so let's call this guy let's zoom in here a little bit and see if we can click on this. All right, so I want blue and I want medium blue. All right, so there, it figured that out. So when you color it, the front can be your darkest shade, the side can be your medium shade, and the top can be your lightest shade. And so, like for this guy right here, the H will make the front the darkest shade. The side will be the lightest shade because the bottom, the underneath, that'll be the lightest shade. Because if our sun's up here, then the bottom has to be the darkest shade. Okay, so have fun with this and enjoy the coloring, and we'll talk to you later.